the kids. Have we talked about this?
No.
Yeah.
I do have a dog.
I
But I have had a dog. So what do you think that I know that you don't?
I think I would have learned a lot about raising babies and kids if I did that first with my dog. And it was just one thing after the other. We had a dog trainer come in when Keith was little, and like all the stuff she was saying, I'm like, oh my God, this, it took me far too long to work this out with the kids. It's the same idea. It's reinforce what you want with positive reinforcement and kind of negative with the stuff that you don't want to happen anymore. Kind of that sort of stuff. I was like, yeah, with babies. Anyway, how are you, Dan? We're live.
Yeah, you were just slapping your babies the whole time like this. Good and bad. Oh wait, hold on. I was going to turn on my lights so you can see me better. Let's see. See if that does it for you. Yeah? Better?
Let me see. Yeah?
A little better?
A little bit. Yeah, it's a little dark in your office.
Yeah, a little bit. It's bright. I'm just in the shadow or whatever, but... okay. Here we go. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's SEO and IPAs. It's the fun weekly hangout about entrepreneurship, inbound marketing, and more for cool people of all shapes, stripes, and colors. As always, I am Daniel Barrett here from Two Friendly Nerds. That is friendlynerds.com, the world's friendliest web design and internet marketing company. And with me, as always, is the brains behind the operation, officially the only reason anyone ever watches this show. She rebranded Google Glass to Google Goggles. It's Patti DeLessio from reinventinteractive.com. This is reinventinteractive.com. Patti, how are you?
I'm terrific. Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year. It's 2015. That's weird. You want to nerd out with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
For Christmas, I asked for it, and I got it. Thank you, Santa. My Evernote Moleskine notebook for 2015. It's actually a planner.
Oh, nice.
And you got your little...
Very hipster of you.
Your little things in there, your little weekly planners. And so I'm planning out my week on the weekends. And then I scan it into Evernote. You can automatically put everything in Evernote for me, and then I can do them both. It's a total nerd thing. It has only a little bit of practical use. But... of course, I had to make 7 automated things to go with it. Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know if I'd call that nerd. That's more old school. You're sort of, I don't know.
What, doing the thing and then you take the picture and scan it into your computer so you have both computer and physical?
I don't know. You
could
just
I set my broad goals for the week in this.
Okay.
Put it in every Monday.
Yes.
And that becomes my weekly Agile to-do list, which I don't know if we've ever talked about Agile to-do lists, but that's my to-do method.
Okay. I want to hear about it because I'm doing something interesting with my schedule that we'll have to talk about.
Okay, cool.
What are you talking about? Yeah, we're doing...
Yeah. Agile to-do is pretty cool. The way I use a modified version of it, but the basic idea is that you have a running to-do list for just kind of a running to-do list, right, that you're sort of checking things off on. And then, I'm kind of adding things to it and subtracting from it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then every day you've got essentially a goal for that day. So it's like, today you put that into a sentence, that's your goal for the day. You've got to finish that thing.
Yeah.
And at the end of the week, you write an entry for it. So it says... where you kind of think out loud about how successful you were and why or why not. So the idea is that it's a running to-do list with a sort of pre-weekly, what are we going to do this week?
Yeah.
And then a post-weekly look back on what worked, what didn't. And then you use that to set your priorities for the next week.
Got it.
It's a pretty simple idea. It's just kind of a running to-do list with a little bit of look forward, a little bit of look back. But I find it to be really, really useful And the look back is really interesting because it's kind of like, you're like, oh, I did a lot of stuff this week. But
Yeah.
it helps to go back and be like, what did I not do? And almost always it's because I set my goals too high for what I'm going to do in the course of a week, right? So it's interesting. It works pretty well with me, and so I do my kind of weekly goals in the Evernote thing, scan in. That creates the sort of the Agile note, which is kind of has some pre-formatted stuff that I want in there, and then the image of what I've planned for the week, and then I kind of go through and I do my little things, and then at the end of the week I write in the actual planner, how did I do, why did I do it. So it's kind of like a journal, to-do list kind of thing. It's cool, and I'm finding it pretty useful.
I like that. And then you can, well, I guess it's good reference, right? You can kind of say, when did I do this, or how much did I get done, or...
Yeah, I think it's useful to look. I was using idonethis.com.
Yeah.
But kind of stopped doing that because I didn't want to do the emails. But I think it's useful to be able to look back on what you've done over the course of the year, because it's very easy to feel like you didn't do very much.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, because my work time is so limited, each individual day is so important that it's important for me to look back and say, like, what was a waste of my time? I'm really doing that. Like, how did I waste my time? Like, I was on a training call before this call, and they're so non-technical, this client, and I'm teaching them how to back up their WordPress site, and so they download the backup, and it's a zip file, and they opened it. So it's like an open file.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do with it? And I'm like, well, just drag it onto an external hard drive. And they're like, well, how do I do that? I'm like, select all the files. And they're like, how do I do that? And I'm like, okay, delete them all, and just get the zip file again. They're like, well, how do I delete it? And then I'm like waiting on the phone with them while their computer deletes the files. It took, like, literally, I'm not even kidding, 5 minutes for their computer. And the whole time I'm like, this is just, it's such a waste of my time. Like, what? And I'm thinking, I've got a lot of time to think about it. So I'm like, why do I do these training calls? I like them, but it's not that I hate doing them. I like doing them, and I think I'm good with people, and I think that's why I do it. But it's like, if I only had, it's true, like 8 hours today, or 9 hours, or 10 hours, whatever I end up doing, like, why am I spending one of those hours on this?
Right.
Yeah. So,
you back?
Yeah. You disappeared for a bit.
Did I? Yeah, I froze. I'm not sure what that was. Sorry.
You were gone for like 5 minutes, but it's back.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so wait. Let's get organized here, because we got.
Right, you want to talk about beers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we do this one? Stop. I'm
gonna grab another one too. Because we didn't really talk about holiday beers. I feel like we barely talked about holiday beers at all.
I know.
So I brought two of the holiday beers that I thought was most interesting. No, hey.
It had New Year on it, so I figured I could,
I brought that one too, so you can talk about that one.
Oh, terrific! Yeah. This is obviously the Anchor Christmas. This year is their 40th anniversary year, and this is always in my top handful of beers of all time. I mean, this is just a beautiful beer. It's low in alcohol. Is it low in
alcohol?
Yeah, it's only 5.5. Yeah, and I've actually toured this brewery. It's one of my favorites. It's in San Francisco.
Cool.
And yeah, it's a great brewery tour if you can get there.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, it's really old. They've done some cool stuff. Anyway, I like it. It looks like this. It's a gorgeous dark.
Yeah, it was darker than I expected. Now I have to say, I really like this too. It was probably my favorite holiday beer. Mm-hmm. But I did not like it as much as last year's, which had the pine thing. And you told me about that, and it was like one of my top beers. And they change it every year, so I can't get it anymore. I'm bummed out about it.
It is still there. There is some sense of pine in it. And would you believe I actually grilled the guy that was giving us the tour? Mm-hmm. about that. I'm like, what is in it? How do you get that lovely kind of pine seasonal thing in the bottle? You know, we had this whole, they're like, we won't tell you. So it's like a big secret as to what's in it. I mean, I think we know what the ingredients are, but it is a kind of a secret as to how they make this, how they alter it each year, what the difference is. So,
because it was there, and
yeah,
it was really. I mean, again, it was still it was my top.
Yeah.
The beer or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it just, I remember liking last year's more.
Yeah, it's there. It's a little more subtle this year, maybe, but I love it. I think it's great. Cheers and Happy New Year. I've drank a lot of really good beer over the holidays, I have to say.
Yeah.
We entertained last week at some point, so we were able to fill the beer fridge with a lot of my kind of beer friends. So
cool.
That was fun. So we got a lot of beer to taste over the next, couple of weeks. So yeah, good stuff. And I've tried some really good stuff. And like I said, I do a lot of that on Instagram, so you can see a lot of my beer pics and stuff there.
Nudes. Yeah. A lot of nudes.
Yeah. What do you got? What are you doing now? You're not actually tasting today. Did you want to?
Yeah. So like I said, I am cutting out. I did this last year. I'm doing it this year. I'm cutting out sugar and carbs for the entire month of January, and then still being quite tapered back next month, but doing like a cheat day kind of thing where I can do stuff. Hey, Michael's here. That's fun. He's carrying a giant box of diapers. Anyway, so.
Hi.
Yeah. So, what was I saying? So, in any case, so I'm not drinking, but I did bring, I brought beers that I did drink over the holidays, right? So I did bring the Anchor. I love the Anchor one. That was awesome. This one was interesting. Was the Ommegang Adoration?
Ooh.
Did you see this at all?
I don't know if I've had that. What style is it?
It is a dark winter ale. So it's ale brewed with spices, coriander, cardamom, mace, grains of paradise, and sweet orange peel.
Nice.
So I was like, okay, spicy thing. It's pretty malty. It was surprisingly sweet.
Oh.
The orange peel, I think particularly, and maybe the grains of paradise, really made it sweeter than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, because you remember I had that pumpkin beer for the fall that I bought a 6-pack of it, and I was like, I couldn't even finish half of one. It was so sweet. It was disgusting. Yeah. This isn't like this. It's a much more balanced kind of thing. It was really interesting. Not really my style. 10% alcohol. I'm not huge into the sweet beers, and I'm not huge into maltiness either.
Yeah.
This was really nice. I really felt holiday-ish when I was drinking it. It really nails that vibe. So it's really interesting. It's a definite kind of try it if you get a chance to try it. Whether or not you want to buy it is maybe depends on your personal taste. But really interesting. They're always good.
Yep.
I've never had anything that I wasn't like, this is a quality beer, and that's the same way. Just not exactly where my favorite flavors hang out. You know what I mean? Yeah,
your style. I love Ommegang. They're a terrific brewery. I want to get up there too and tour that facility.
Cooperstown. Right?
Yeah. It's a cool.
I read that off the label.
Good.
Right. So it sounded like I remembered it.
Good.
How irritating.
Well, cheers. Cheers to 2015.
So I'll switch to my sugar-free iced coffee now. Of course, in the mason jar, as always. Delicious.
Hipster.
Sort of. We have 9 million of these because we use them at our wedding.
That's right. So
it's like everything goes in the mason jar.
You were talking about your nerd gift over the holidays. This wasn't necessarily a gift. I just happened to be up for renewal, so I ended up scoring myself a new gold iPhone 6, which has been a lot of fun.
Cool. How you like it?
I love it. Where are you with the iPhone?
I have, I think the one before the 6, so the 5S.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay, so you've been authenticating with your thumb for quite a while. For me, this is new.
I don't do that. I turned it off.
You did?
Yeah, I don't use it.
It's the best. It's the best. Anyway, so I'm used to the size. I thought it was like a little too big. It still is an issue fitting in my pocket of my jeans, but
That's what she said to everything. Yeah. What?
that's what I do. So anyway, okay, so we have got some cool stuff to kind of like chat about. We've got a Moz article to review, which is Rand's predictions for what's going to happen with kind of online marketing and SEO for 2015, right? But we were going to kick it off with what you and I are anticipating or planning for as far as resolving to do in our own businesses.
Right.
So
our own businessy New Year's resolutions. So
yeah, and we both have them. We haven't really dove into kind of what they are yet. I have a couple interesting things going on. So, but why don't you start? Why don't you tell us where some goals, some 2015 expectations for Two Friendly Nerds?
Yeah, so Two Friendly Nerds, 2015 is going to be the year of expanding our AdWords management client base.
Yep.
So in general, the kind of theme for the year is growth, and I really want to expand my client base, my number of monthly clients. I want to expand my income per client, and I'm doing that in a couple different ways. We're rolling out AdWords Nerds, which is our sister brand. We're a sister brand.
Who is me?
It's me and my employees, who are at this moment are Fred, Karina, and Adil, who's pretty much our permanent team now, and they're pretty awesome.
Good.
And they have more or less taken over Two Friendly Nerds to a large extent. I still funnel work to them, which is kind of the last piece to get rid of.
Yeah.
But they are my kind of web team. So I have decided to really dedicate myself both to marketing that company and to expanding AdWords Nerds. And the way I'm going to do that is by getting some clients, doing the work myself, systemizing it while I do it, making sure I have the systems and everything in place. And then when I feel really comfortable about the system, then bringing them in, training them up in how to do that, and follow my system for how to do this. So we're doing that. That's going to start this month. The site should be up this month.
Great.
And I know various marketing goals for that. I'm also really trying to expand my value per client in a couple different ways. It's weirdly enough, for the web design stuff, we actually never offered packages.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm partially in the, along with the process of trying to productize that service or systematize that service a little bit. Mm-hmm. I am going to kind of offer really discrete packages. We're going to have a package that is almost double what our highest package is now. Mm-hmm. And I'm also going to add the lower end package. We're really going to minimize the work that's in it, so we're going to kind of strip it down a little bit so it's easier to do. Mm-hmm. So those are kind of the big ones. Really try to increase my per client value by having that kind of big package. That's what she said. And then and then starting this new company, this new brand, really focusing on AdWords and sort of paid traffic. I think it's a big growth area. And actually, if you look at, part of this is because I'm a little worried about web design as an industry.
Yeah.
If you look at the last 10 years for web design queries in Google Trends, it is like a straight diagonal line down.
Really?
And even if you do it like Connecticut web design, straight diagonal line down.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't see that changing. I don't see any reason why the downward pressure on the need for web designers is going to change. So although we might still always be able to get clients, I'm not going to be able to build a $10 million company in doing that. Not to say that I even want to do that, but it's just the growth potential is limited, and there's a lot of competition. So the AdWords thing, I think, is an area where I can really carve out a niche. The only other thing that that's cool that I'm doing is that I am going to roll out my own sort of a coherent kind of coaching and consulting brand that's going to be solely about training people, and I'm going to do an online course as part of that. So there's going to be a little more level. Yeah. So that's what that's all about.
That's crazy.
So those are my New Year's resolutions. Obviously, make a ton of money. You know, first you get the money, then you get the women, then you get the power. Or I don't know how it goes. You know what I'm talking about. What about you? What are your New Year's resolutions?
That's pretty nuts. Well, yeah, you didn't get into your personal ones. I've got.
Oh, I thought we were just talking business. I've got a whole separate sheet of personal ones.
Now, how do you? So I saw that beautiful blog that you wrote where you revisited these resolutions that you set for last year, which I thought was really cool. I thought it was cool to kind of like put it out there. Cool. And say which one, you know, you kind of said this one I meant and this one I didn't, and this is what I'm going to do about it. And, you know, plus you had a baby this year, your first baby, so you had a really big...
Messing everything up.
Right? I'm surprised you got anything done. But yeah, so for me, stuff is changing. It's primarily been more or less a mind shift for me. I'm getting really organized about the business, and this would be kind of cool to run by you. I'm going to get very structured with my work week, kind of similar to what you were talking about.
Yeah.
There's sets of tasks that I do across the board for, you know, all my clients that have sort of the same service. Say, for example, you know, AdWords management, and I'm going to carve out different times of the day and of the week to get my head and get my mindset into that task, because I'm finding it hard to jump from task to task and, you know, different client needs and just answer the phone and react. And I'm going to get more into kind of controlling of the work and staying, you know, being as mindful into the task that I can. So when I'm into the AdWords mode and I'm optimizing campaigns, I want to actually block off different times during the week to actually do that task. So just as an example, there's that. And then there's other stuff that I do. So, you know, link building, SEO, getting into analytics. And so instead of going by client, I'm going to go by task and then kind of go across the board. So I'm kind of creating these sort of verticals, and so that's a big shift. I'm solving a problem with that, which is just a productivity issue, you know, and I want to document more precisely, not only the hours I'm spending, but what I'm doing, so that at the end of the month when I'm wrapping up that report and that story for that client, it's kind of like, this is what was done this month. You know, because I've been doing it. I've been working very hard for all of my clients and, you know, getting the work done. What I'm not doing is saying it took, you know, this many hours and this kind of task and this kind of progress. So it's getting more checklisty and really serious about wrapping my head around, you know, kind of like that work. So there's that, and I believe in the last week I've had about 7 new projects land on my desk. I've had either referrals or existing clients, and when I say projects, I mean literally new web properties that I would be doing work on. So it's the business is doing really well, and of course this is all part of New Year, right? Everyone wants their website to perform better, so I'm getting a lot of calls and a lot of attention, a lot of referrals that way. So so anyway, that's all very exciting. The work stuff is really good. Of course, I've got some exercise goals for the first time like ever. I don't...
Are you lifting? Are you going to lift?
No, but there's some paid for packages of some stuff, so I'm going to, like, yeah.
Like what?
Well, I'm getting into this yoga, and I'm getting something called these bar classes. These like it's not dance, but it's.
You're talking about pole dancing. You're talking about pole dancing.
I'm not.
Bar. What else are you talking about?
It's sort of like, not exactly ballet, but it's bar as in like ballet. But anyway, it's
right. Cool.
It's totally fun. So there's that, which is exciting. What else?
That's super cool.
Right? Now, you ran your first marathon, right?
I ran a half marathon.
Half marathon. Okay, yeah. And my husband's been doing these like triathlons, and everybody's hitting their strides with all their, you know, kind of like goals. I'm like, I want to get 2 workouts in a week.
Well, working out regularly is a huge problem, and that's one of my things. So one of my resolutions for this year is I want to become the kind of person that never misses a workout.
Yeah.
You know that person who's like, I gotta get my workout in, and they're at like 4 in the morning or like
Yeah.
super.
Well, that's how you do it.
Yeah, I want to. That's the goal, to become that kind of person. Because I'm like, if I can do that, the rest of my healthy stuff, besides the diet stuff, will take care of itself.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking. I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna do a combination of. One of the ways I'm gonna try to ensure that can happen, because I know it's difficult for me, right? Yeah. Is exercise very little, but so. I'm going to do high-intensity training.
Yeah, like 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, so like high-intensity, either cardio or weights. Mm-hmm. The whole thing only takes like 15 minutes. You're doing this whole like 3 reps to failure thing. And then you're not supposed to work out for like the entire rest of the week because you need time to recover. That's the whole idea. So they say that one of the most common reasons that people don't advance in their exercise is because they exercise too much, not too little.
Okay.
So, there's a combination of that and then something that would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get into rock climbing, indoor rock climbing.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times. It's fun. It's like challenging. It's mental. It's something that'll sort of get me. That's the kind of body that I want to have, which is sort of like a lean but strong kind of body. So I'm excited for that.
That's really cool. My husband did a lot of rock climbing. He lived in Colorado for a summer, and there's all these really cool shots of this climbing rock.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like, I'm just going to do the indoor stuff to begin with. Then. But, I think if you get good at it and you like it, it's kind of an excuse to travel all around and do cool stuff outside. My problem with outside rock climbing is that there are spiders outside. I don't know if I'm willing to do that.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
You don't like the spiders?
I hate spiders.
Okay.
I almost vomit every time I see one, and that's not even an exaggeration.
Do you really? You're
My wife will tell you I literally run screaming out of the room.
My husband's that way too, and then my 10-year-old comes out of the closet with a flip-flop, and she's like, "I'll take care of it," and kills the.
Good. You need someone like that.
I know.
You're this warrior in the house to mercilessly destroy these agents of the apocalypse.
Who cares if it's the 10-year-old?
So what else? You're doing ballet?
Well, it's not ballet. It's like a.
It's ballet.
It's not. I thought it was going to be more ballet. I thought my leg was going to get on the bar. The leg doesn't get on the bar. It's just it's like these little micro movements. You would like it. It's hard. Actually, you like shake. It's terrible. It's not that I like it.
I was going to say, like, why do you think I would like it?
It's all terrible.
I like it. You would love it. Why?
It's all terrible. Listen, I have managed to get this far without having to adopt any serious workout routine. Like,
Yeah, your problem is, you couldn't gain weight if you tried, right? That's the opposite problem to me. I won't gain weight if I look at myself crossing.
And I've actually, and I know we've talked about this, but like about a year and a half ago, I lost like 10 pounds. I haven't been able to get it back. So the workout actually may help with that because you can build.
Yeah, build the muscle.
Helps with appetite and stuff. So anyway, I don't usually talk about that. I'm
sorry. I didn't want to out you as a hard to gain waiter, or sorry. Don't mean to poke the sensitive spot. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, being a schlubby white dude, it's it can be rough sometimes. I'll be honest.
Right. Good. Anyway,
real you.
So the exercise thing, honestly, though, is going to fit into this calendar that I'm going to be making. But what do you recommend besides the whole taking the photo of the paper calendar? Do you have a better automated tool that you would use for, mapping out just the Monday to Friday, like blocking?
I mean, I would. When I want to make sure that I do something, I put it in my Google Calendar. So, for example, because Google Calendar is what I use, it's connected to all my scheduling software.
Yeah.
So, for example, if I'm busy in Google Calendar, a client can't schedule a meeting with me, right? Yeah. So, what I will do is, I had Fancy Hands with the virtual assistant service. Right. I told them, I was like, I need to schedule 2 30-minute workouts every week. I want you to go for the next 10 weeks of my calendar and put them into my calendar on work days. Like just schedule it without me knowing, right? Mm-hmm. So I will see it on my calendar and do it, and I know that time is blocked off. So same thing for anything else. If you know you've got to block off time to do something, I would make it a recurring event in your calendar, and you just know that that's your thing, and sooner or later it'll be totally natural. But at least that way, nothing else can creep into that spot. Mm-hmm. You just have to honor that. Then you have to say, like, I'm busy during that time. I mean, to me, that's the biggest. If it's in my schedule, I'll do it.
You do that. You're really good like that. You tell people to look at your calendar. They have to use an app to book time with you.
Yeah, I use Meet or Schedule Once, rather, it's called, to have people schedule themselves, because that's just a communication issue. It cuts that process like by a million times. But yeah, so I blocked off Monday and Friday. I'm not available Monday and Friday. Mm-hmm. You just have to get used to saying that. So if you're blocking off your mornings, I think the other thing is, for me, it's like the first thing in the morning is the most productive time of any day, right? Yeah. So it's like when I come in, like I have a routine now. Like when I come into the office, now it's like I'm trying. One of my resolutions for this year is to get better at chess. Yeah. First thing I put away all my stuff. I sit down. It's quiet. There's no one else in the office usually at that time, and I do 10 minutes of chess exercises or problems, right? Mm-hmm. Then I come to the thing, and I'm like, okay, what's the first thing? My first priority for any day. That's the only thing I work on for at least an hour. There's no notifications. There's no, there's nothing. Can't check anything. Right. And I block off that time for meetings. Mm-hmm. For most days. So it's it ensures that your most productive time, and there's a lot of reasons that's the case, but your most productive time is spent on the most important thing. And then the rest of the day you can spend running around from thing to thing. Right.
Yeah, I get that, and I'm excited to build more time into my schedule for the business, right? To work on the business, which I used to do. I've done Friday. I've kind of blocked off like this Friday morning to do learning, right? To do kind of like research and keeping up to date with changes and what I need to know, and that's worked out really well. But I'm going to kind of do a schedule. Maybe I'll share that once I have my week more.
Yeah, let's talk like nerdy productivity schedules, because I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's totally right. I think I work probably now like 60% of my work is, or I would say 40% of my work is on the business itself. Yeah. And that's only possible because I hired people. If you're always doing the actual work, you just can't expect yourself to be able to do both. It's hard.
That's right.
But even if you just set a day, Monday's your day.
Yeah.
You don't do any client work on Monday.
Yeah.
But I think it's
hard for me.
It's tough. All right, well, we're at 12:30, so let's wrap this up. So if you thank you, first of all, for watching. If you're watching this, if you want to check out the beginning of this episode or any of our past episodes, you can go to twofriendlynerds.com/hangout. That's twofriendlynerds.com/hangout. See all our past episodes, or you can go on YouTube and type in SEO and IPA, and you'll find us.
Yes.
And we'll be back next week, Wednesday, noon Eastern Standard Time. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at 2 Friendly Nerds, or you can get Patti at SEO Patti. That's Patti with an I. And Patti, it was an awesome talk. I love talks like this. I love New Year's resolutions. They're so much fun.
Easing into the week. No, we're not going to be here next week, right? You're gone?
I'm not going to be here next week. Okay. I'm actually going to a conference, so I'll be gone. I'll be down in Florida. But
the week after. Cheers. Have a good time.
We'll be back. Yeah. Thank you, Patti. Cheers as always. And as always, everybody, please optimize responsibly.
Yep.
You can do it. You do it every week. Every week.
I had the glass in my.
That's like my George Costanza, like. Yeah. All right, Pat. She left. I don't know where Patti went.
I took off. I'll see you later.
All right, bye guys. Thank you. See you later.